For years, it was a ritual. You would go to McDonald's, you would buy a burger or some fries, and with your food, you would get a little piece of paper, a game piece. It was for the McDonald's Monopoly game. The idea was simple. You collected these little stickers. You stuck them on a game board. If you collected all the properties in a color group, you won a prize. Sometimes the prize was a free apple pie. Sometimes it was a car. And sometimes, if you were very, very lucky, it was $1 million. It was a game of chance that felt like a national pastime. A small thrill in an ordinary day. The game captured the imagination of millions. People would trade pieces with friends. They would dig through their glove compartments, hoping to find that one missing sticker. The odds of winning the big prizes were incredibly small, astronomical even. But that was part of the fun. Someone had to win. And maybe, just maybe, this time it would be you. The television commercial showed happy families jumping for joy. They had just won a new minivan. But behind the colorful game boards and the cheerful advertisements, a secret was hiding. A big one. For over a decade, the big winners were not random. The game was rigged. His name was Jerome Jacobson. He was a former police officer. In the 1980s, he took a job at a company called Simon Marketing. This was the company McDonald's hired to run its promotions, including the big one, the Monopoly game. Jacobson's job was head of security. He was the guardian of the game's integrity. He oversaw the most valuable pieces, instant winners, rare properties. He personally transported them from the printing plant to the packaging centers. He was, in effect, the man with the keys to the castle. He seemed perfect for the job. Serious, detail-oriented, trusted. He understood the protocols. He traveled with high-value pieces, sometimes with an independent auditor. He oversaw random seeding into the production line, start to finish. For the first few years, he did his job properly. But then, something shifted. In 1989, a supplier in Canada accidentally sent a sheet of winning pieces to him instead of the factory. A mistake. A simple human error. But for Jacobson, it was an opportunity. He saw how easily a valuable piece could fall into his hands. He later claimed he tested the system, giving a $25,000 piece to his stepbrother, who claimed it without issue. The system was built on trust. In him, in the auditors. But auditors could be distracted, and the security director could be tempted. He carried the envelopes. He knew which ones held $1 million. He realized he could slip one out, replace it with a common piece, and no one would ever know. One man could not claim all the prizes himself, too obvious, too suspicious. So Jacobson built a network. It began small, family, friends, people who could keep a secret. He offered a deal, claim the prize, give him a cut. They would be the public face, ordinary lucky people. As years passed, he branched out. Recruiters found new faces nationwide. One key recruiter, Gennaro Colombo, connected, resourceful, ex-convicts, mob-adjacent fixers, even psychics. A strange, sprawling enterprise. Mormons in Utah, strip club owners in South Carolina, regular families wanting a car. All threads led back to Jacobson, Uncle Jerry, the puppet master. The mechanics were low-tech, not digital, physical. Pieces were sealed, audited, escorted. At layovers, he excused himself to a restroom. Privacy inside a stall. He learned to lift and reseal. Boardwalk out, Mediterranean in, seconds, not minutes. The auditor saw the same seal, none the wiser. Once he had the piece, he arranged a meeting, parking lots or family gatherings. He handed over the sticker. His cut came first, in cash. $1 million piece could cost 50 grand. He coached claim forms, PO boxes, backstories, meticulous and methodical. He tracked who got what, spacing winners, Florida, California, Texas, to avoid suspicion. For a long time, it worked. Simple, direct, built on exploiting the one man no one questioned. The public played on, none the wiser. He grew bolder, feeling untouchable. He even donated $1 million piece to St. Jude to ease his conscience. All elaborate schemes have a weak point. In 2000, a tip arrived in Jacksonville. Recent winners weren't legitimate. The source was anonymous but specific. A Dodge Viper winner was related to an organizer. Pull the thread, the pattern begins to show. It sounded like a conspiracy theory, but until the details lined up, agents opened a case. They started with Michael Hoover on telly celebrating. His story felt rehearsed. His lifestyle didn't fit a millionaire. Phone records connected winners. Many pointed to Gennaro Colombo. The FBI mapped the network. Wiretaps captured coaching calls and money moves. They watched handoffs in real time. They heard Jacobson choose the next $1 million winner, George Chandler, before the piece was in his hand. They let it play out. To catch them in the act, an associate flew to deliver the winning piece. The boardwalk piece changed hands. Chandler called the hotline, surprised and overjoyed, on cue. The FBI recorded everything. They now had a fake winner on a $1 million claim. On August 22, 2001, coordinated arrests. The FBI swooped in. Jacobson and more than 20 associates. The beloved game was a fraud. Wiretaps, records, witnesses, overwhelming. The legal fallout was swift and severe. Jacobson pleaded guilty, admitting he stole and distributed winning pieces for profit. He received 37 months in federal prison and over $12.5 million in restitution. More than 50 others were convicted. For McDonald's, it was a public relations nightmare. They were victims, but trust was shattered. They condemned the fraud and cooperated with the FBI. They terminated Simon Marketing immediately. To restore faith, they ran a $10 million instant giveaway. No stickers, just cash to random customers. They overhauled controls so no single person could ever hold that power again. From 1989 to 2001, the fraud siphoned more than $24 million. Cars, vacations, cash, diverted to a hidden network. Almost none of the biggest prizes went to legitimate players. The secret king of the game was finished. Publicly, permanently, the game would return, but never run the same way again. This was more than a rigged game. It's a lesson about trust and control. One insider exploited a loophole in a system built on faith in him. Policies mean nothing without checks and balances. Complacency opened the gate. No single person should be the sole keeper of the keys. For the public, the magic dimmed, replaced by wary skepticism. Those smiling winners might not have been lucky at all. The company fixed the system, but the memory lingers. It reminds us that integrity is fragile. A system built on trust can be broken by one person's betrayal. This is a story about stolen pieces and fake winners, and a timeless lesson. Always watch the watchers, because sometimes the person in charge of security is the one you need to be secured from the most. The McDonald's monopoly scam. A decade of deceit, undone by a single thread. And a reminder, trust should never live in one pair of hands.